Hello everyone. In this video, we will try to create the VNet pairing. Uh, so we will create two VNets and on a different virtual network with different IP addresses. They're going to be private IP addresses, and we will try to ping from one VNet to other VNet to make sure that they are reachable. So let's start by creating a resource group. As you know, every service we need to deploy in Azure need to be created in a resource group. We're going to call it resource group East US. Let's go by default East US. And so in this scenario, we will create one resource group and two VNets. And then we're going to launch two machines in the VNet. And then we will ping them. And they shouldn't be pinging each other since they are on different VNets. And then when we create a pairing, we will see the pings will be successful. So we got our resource group created. Let's create our virtual network. So the first virtual network, we're gonna call it VNet1. Okay, yeah, I'm waiting for the resource group to launch. That's done. We're gonna call it VNet1 in same resource group, and we're gonna keep the default IP address for this. You can use your own one, and subnet we're gonna keep same subnet. And let's hit create. And let's create. Wait for the resource to deploy. I'm gonna pause the video while it's getting deployed, and I will join you once it's ready. Yep, I'm back now. So that's been created. Now let's go to our resource and let's have a quick look. So VNet is created. This is the IP address space. Now let's create a second VNet in the same resource group. We will test the different resource group, but for that we need to do something different. VPN gateway, so we need to create it number 2, which we will discuss in next video. So this is a second VNet, and let's check the IP address. So yeah, it's picking up a different range of IP address, and if subnet is different as well, let's click okay, create. Okay, just gonna wait for it to get created. I will not pause the video this time because I think it should not take too long. Last time it took like a minute. So let's wait for a minute to get this one deployed. I was testing something earlier, so that's why you're probably going to see some failures there. Actually, this is a good, I will show you why, because I was doing some practice about the VNets pairing, and a group was failing, and I will show in this video why when it fails. So I'm just going to wait for this one to finish. Okay, so our resource is deployed. So let's have a quick look. Virtual network. So we got two virtual network, same resource group, same location, different IP addresses range there. So just want to guys have a quick look now. So let's launch our two machines. I will use Windows operating system in this time, and I'm gonna call the first one VM1. We'll go with the default setting. Let's use the username and password option here. Okay, and then RDP, we need to go into the machine to test, and then that's done. And in under the networking, make sure we choose the first VNet because it's a VM1 we are creating, and we want to make sure it connects to the VNet one. So I'm just gonna keep it disabled, and let's launch. We will go through all these settings in further videos, but I will just keep the default setting as it is. Okay, I think it will take some time. I will pause the video for now. So, yeah, welcome back. So it's deployed. It didn't took too long. I think it just took under a minute, which is good. Okay, now so this is the private IP address, and this is the public IP address. So we will use public IP address to log into the machine for ping purposes, but we will ping using the private IP address. Okay, and I will show you once it's ready. Let's try to log into the machine. Okay, we will let this one to log into, and let's jump on to our second VM. And this VM, we're gonna call it in the same resource group we're gonna create, and we're gonna call it VM2. Same region. These settings we're gonna keep it as default. So let's do our account. And RDP port we're gonna enable. You can use these one as well, but we're not gonna take these ones. So this is if you got a web server, these are useful, and SSH is for Linux machines or Linux machine. You can say, okay, that's done. Default settings all done. Now let's go into the networking. That's the main thing. Make sure you select your VNet 2 for the second VM2. It will pick up the subnet automatically. That's all good. Management, I just disable this monitoring boot because we don't need this one unless hit create. Just give a few seconds. Okay, gonna wait for it to get created. I'm probably gonna keep the video recording on and see how long it takes. So is 3 past 11 at the moment. Okay, it created the IP address, it's created the network security group interface, network interface is there, which has been created. Here we go. So brilliant. It took even less than, I guess, 15 or 20 seconds. So that's all done. So now let's try to log into this machine as well. So if I go back into my main Windows machine, RDP, you can use a virtual box. It's up to you. But I just use my own machine to log into these VMs. So desktop. Okay, now let's see. It should take few seconds to log in. Okay, let's now go here. We don't need this. We're not using it as a server. We're just using it as a test machine. Let's close this. I'm gonna close this one down. Now let's open command prompt. And if I do ipconfig, so that tells me we are on VM1. And let's check our other VM, which is this one. We don't need this one. We're gonna hide this one, or you can close. It's up to you. And now let's do CMD. I'm trying to ping, not ping. I'm trying to type quickly. Yep. Okay, that's there. And if I do, sorry, ipconfig, this tells me we are on VM2 or VNet2. Okay, now let's ping 10.0.0.4. This is a machine. This is the IP address, private IP address of our VM1. Now let's go to our VM1. This is our VM1 private address, which is being getting pinged. And now let's ping 10.1.0.4. This is the IP address for our. I will do a constant ping as well. Sure, I done it for the other machine. So this is our VNet2 private IP address. Let's quickly jump on to our VNet1. Okay, that's, I checked it. Okay, this need to go, and let's quickly make sure. Yeah, that's why I've done a mistake. And let's do constant ping. So both of them, they're constantly pinging each other. Now the real setup which we need to do, if you go to the virtual network, inside the virtual network, select any one of these VNets, and on this panel left side you will see option called pairings. Click on there, click add pairing, appears, and then you need to give the name. So this is the name which is associated to this, and this is the name which will go to the other pair. So I will call this one VNet1 to VNet2. Let me make this caps as well, so it's easy to identify, not identify, to read actually. And let's copy this one, paste here, and gonna call it 2, and gonna call it 1. Rest of the setting we will go by default. Okay, virtual network is asking, we are sitting on VM1, so we need to select virtual network 2 here. And if I click add, that's pretty much it. Okay, this is the thing which I was trying to say earlier, which I had the error. So it actually create 2 pairs, one on VNet1 and one on VNet2. Just you need to do refresh. So this, as you can see, from V2 to VNet2 to VNet1, and this is from VNet1 to VNet2. So if you go to VNet2 and try to create a pair, it will throw an error because it will say that pair already exists. So let's quickly test it. I'm just gonna put blank names in there, and if I say need one, select a different version, these virtual networks already pair to each other. That's the thing which I want to show you. Okay, so that's done. Now let me go back to our home. So we got 2 virtual machines. VNet1 is connected to this, VNet2 is connected to this on different VNets, and we created a pair. And after getting the pairing done, they should be able to ping each other. Now, since we know our ping is happening, you can see it's being pinged. So if I do Control C to finish this ping, and if I go, you can see 40% loss. So the time which we created the pair, they start pinging to each other. And if I go back to our other terminal and do Control C to stop this. Okay, my keyboard is old, so I need to get that changed. But yeah, so some of the key doesn't work. So look at this. So this is where our a pairing have completed and they start pinging each other. Okay, I think that's pretty much it we covered in this video. And in next video, we're gonna do VNet pairing, but on a public network. So we're gonna use VPN gateway. So till then, enjoy yourself, and I will see you in next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.